Okay, we should have sound now. Good now, Marlon? Hold on, guys. Relax. Thank you for letting me know, though. I'm pretty sure we have sound now. Yeah, we have sound now.
Good now, Marlon?
Yeah, we're good. Okay. It's been clicking that microphone button on me. So what I was saying was this is our watch list for Monday, March 6th. I put these out for you guys for free every single day. So thank you guys for joining me. If you're live, feel free to ask questions as we go through this. I will answer them for you guys. I was saying there's not a lot of setups on the daily chart. So what I've done is I've gone to the 2-day chart. There are some setups on the 1 days, but most of them are on the 2-day chart. So we can play them the same way as we always do with the daily setups. But we'll go through them here and we'll see how they play out. So we'll go through QCOM. So QCOM has, I'm going to delete this. And let's actually move this up to there. And we'll change that to green. And we'll mark that as our first target. So Qualcomm has a 2 down that finished green. So I know I've talked about this before. People always ask, does the color matter on the reversal? So yes, and the answer is yes and no to that. So what we've got on this one here is a 2 down that finished green. And when we get those 2 downs, my mouse here. When we get these 2 downs that finish green, that tells me that there's a higher probability that this is going to trend back to the upside because we did not finish red. That's what tells me that. If it did finish red, does that mean that we can't have a reversal back to the upside? It doesn't, but I wouldn't have them on my charts, okay? I wouldn't be looking for them actively on my charts if it wasn't green like this. The other thing we have here is currently this time frame continuity, the majority of it is pointing to the downside. Now, I'll remind you that when Monday opens, the hourly is a new candle, the daily is a new candle, and the weekly is a new candle. Okay? I will also remind you that we are already 2 down on the month. That's what that blue line represents there. We've already gone 2 down. So if we continue to trend down, we don't take this trade. It's not anything to look at. But if it trends up, now the hourly and the daily and the weekly will all be green, and our majority of our time frame will be back to the upside. So we can look for common shares or calls on this one at 124.21. And then we have our first target at 125.47. Okay, we'll go to Walmart. Walmart has an inside bar. I'm assuming most of you guys in here, Christopher, what's up, man? Most of you guys in here know what inside bars are, know how to play the inside bars or the 1 bar in the Strat. So you notice these candlestick numbers here. This inside bar is painted yellow. We have this time frame continuity. That's an indicator that I created for you guys. The link to purchase it is down below. It's $25. It's a one-time fee. You get it for life. And if there's any ever updates to it, then you get those at no cost. But it's also part of the Griswold Gold membership, which is in the Discord. If you guys are interested in joining the Discord, which is free to join, that link is in the description below. And then there is a paid membership portion of that, okay? But all the details can be found in that Discord, or you can ask me in the comment section on Twitter at Mr. Clark Griswold or in the live chat. But when we have these inside bars, guys, inside bars are what I always tell people to play if they're new to trading or they're struggling with trading, especially if you have the indicator. They're super simple to see. Okay, they're marked with this 1. They're painted yellow from the indicator. And when you see that yellow bar, what I want you guys to envision and think of is a spring being compacted, squished, tightened, and loaded. And when you remove those loads from either end, or that pressure from either end, we expect it to see a big jump to one direction or the other. Now, all we have to do is go back in time and look for the previous inside bars to see how they react. And do they always react the way they should? No, but probability tells us that they should have that big explosion. And every trade that you guys look at, every strategy that you guys look at is completely based off of probability. And I always tell people that anybody can press a button to buy or sell a stock, okay, and be 50% of the time. But it's when that trade doesn't work out, how do you get out of that trade? How are you managing your risk? That's what makes a trader really, really good, is how much risk management, or how good you are at risk management. So again, we go to this inside bar, and this one didn't behave that great as well. We triggered, we came down, and I guess we just missed targets. But probability tells us this setup right here. This is what we look for, okay? Off of this trigger, we look for that big break to the downside where we hit multiple targets. And again, it's probability based. Every trade, every strategy is. And if anybody tells you any different, then they're lying to you, okay? Because nobody knows what this next candle is going to be. It's impossible for them to know what it is. They can't know. But they can tell you that based off of probability, we are going to have a rocket ship up or a rocket ship down in one of those directions. Now, if we look at this with the time frame continuity, we could say, yeah, this would tell us that based off of the time frame continuity, that if this trends down, we're continuing in a direction that's favorable to us. And if we go look at the monthly, we are stuck on the inside bar on March currently, but we are really, really close to breaking that 2 down cycle on the monthly. So, sorry, I got to go to the 2-day chart. So if we open and we trigger and we break to the downside, we're really, really close to going 2 down on the month and just having a continuation of this time frame continuity on Walmart. So again, inside bars, if you're struggling, if you're new, it's something that you guys should follow or should look for, because they're easier to play. You can take them in both directions. You can take calls at 141.19 or puts at 139.50. We'll move on to Roku. So Roku has a outside bar on the 2-day, but if we go to the 1-day, I'm actually going to take this off the list, and we'll go to SE and back to the 2-day. So 2-day has a 2 up, but if we go to the 1-day, again, why is this doing this to me? We'll take SE off the list as well then. These must be ones I didn't delete. So Alibaba's on the daily chart. Okay, so again, another inside bar. Can we call that a hammer candle? I guess we can. So a hammer candle, if you guys don't know, it has this body here. I would like to see this body a little bit higher up here, but basically a hammer candle is one of the actionable signals. So a hammer candle, an inside bar, or a shooter candle. And a hammer candle is when we have this big body, and then the wick below it has to be 2 times the size of the body. So that's what we have here. And a shooter is exactly the opposite. This body would be down here, and this wick to the top would be 2 times the size of the body at the bottom. So that's a shooter candle. And a shooter candle is a bearish pattern. So we do have a little bit of conflict here because the time frame is shooting to the downside. But if we trend to the upside, because Monday is a new hourly candle, a new daily candle, a new weekly candle, we would be split right down the middle. And for me, guys, on my day trades, I only need these two in my direction, okay? Because I'm not staying in a trade all day or multiple days. I'm really jumping into a trade for anywhere from 3 minutes to an hour. So that can work on these day trades. It can work on the 2-day trades. And if these don't work for you guys, then what we're doing here with these setups, the triggers and the targets, I want you guys to do those same things on the smaller time frames. So you can set your triggers and targets on the hourly, the 30 and the 15, but I still want you to go play them and manage them on a smaller time frame like the 5-minute, okay? And let those targets and those candlestick reversals stop you out of your trades. So that's Alibaba. I'm going to go to CVS, and we're going to switch back to the 2-day chart. And I have CVS on here for one reason. I'm going to keep on putting it on here. I put CVS on here because I've been talking about it for probably about a month or a month and a half now, and just the way it's been a constant downtrend since the new year. And it continues to do so, and we've got full time frame continuity on it. I would be cautious. You can see we have these big red candles, and then it starts to thin out here. We might get one more here, and then you're going to see maybe a hammer candle form here or something of that nature, we might come down and tag the bottom of that broadening formation that I've created there and start to come back up a bit. But I like to put CVS on here and keep it on watch because it's gone 2 down on the year already. That's my orange candle. So if I go to the 12-month chart, you can see there where that's the yearly break to go 2 down on the year. Okay, that was our was it a 2-2 reversal. So this was a 2 up, this was a 2 up that finished red, and this is our 2 down red on the year. So let's move on. We'll go to target. So target on the 2-day chart, okay? 3-1 setup, outside bar, inside bar. So we know about the inside bars, and that's essentially what we're playing here is just the inside bar. But when we have this outside bar preceding it, this pattern, this setup, tends to be very powerful together with the inside bar. So you notice it's highlighted yellow here. That's part of the indicator. It includes the indicator. And the blue highlight as well includes is included on the indicator. But the 3-1s don't happen very often, okay? So let's go back and see on target the last time we had a 3-1 setup. And there it is. We'll skim to the top here. And that 3-1 went to an inside bar. So we'll just go find one here. And again, it didn't work out the way it probably should have. It barely broke the high here, barely, and then came back down. So probability based, that one didn't work. But most times, like this one right here, this is the setup we're looking for, guys. This is the 3-1. And look at, boom, 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 boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight days. That thing ran off of that 3-1 setup. So again, that's what we look for off of those 3-1 plays. So I'll move this up. Calls at 166.21. There's good magnitude up to the upside. And we can look for puts as well at 160.95. And again, if we trend to the upside on this, well, then we've got the majority of time frame continuity in our favor. Marlon, you're asking about Amazon, AMD, and Apple. We'll look at those at the very end, okay? On the weekly. I am going to do a weekly chart, so I'll probably log out, and then we can log back in and do a weekly chart, okay? We'll move on to XOM. And I have to go to the daily on XOM, and we're going to take that one off because there is no real setup on XOM. What is KO? KO on the daily chart, okay? Inside bar on the daily. Really good time frame continuity to the downside. We'll see if we can continue that trend. This inside bar, actionable signal, is currently red. So we can look for puts at 59.21 and calls at 59.68 on Coca-Cola. Macy's also with that inside bar, good magnitude to the downside, but if we trend to the upside here off of Macy's, we have this big gap up. If we trend up, we've got full time frame continuity in our favor to the upside. So calls at 23.02, puts at 22.66 on Macy's. We move to MU. We'll go to the 2-day chart, and there is our setup on the 2-day. Now, we are 2 down on the month of March, but we are also 2 down finishing green. Normally, we would have that target up there, okay? So we can look for calls off of this at 56.87. Normally, we would have that target up at the top, but because we have this gap, no candle between this spot and this spot, we put our first target there. That's to fill the gap. Now, if this was higher up and there were other wicks to fill in, we could put our targets there as well. Hopefully, you guys all follow with that. But that's the setup on Micron. We'll look for calls there with 2-2 reversal on MU. We move to Airbnb. So Airbnb, full time frame continuity to the upside. We're 2 down green. We're looking for calls at 125.87. Does anybody know what this pink line represents on my chart? Anybody who follows me, has followed me, does anybody know what that pink line represents? So that pink line represents the weekly chart. That's right, Marlon, the weekly chart. So we were 2 down, finished green on the weekly last week, okay? 2 down, finished green, and we have this hammer candle. We've got full time frame continuity. We've got a 122 Rev Strat on the weekly. We can talk about that more on the weekly video. Oh, what did I do? I do this every time. There we go. Okay. So we go back to the 2-day chart, and that is our setup. So if we trigger on the day, our first target sends us 2 up on the week, okay? So with full time frame continuity, that's on Airbnb. AMC on the 2-day chart, we've got a 2 down that finished green, so we're going to look for this to trend back up. We've got good magnitude from 669 all the way to 853 on AMC, so we can look for calls there on AMC. We'll move to BAC, so a 122 Rev Strat, and realistically, all this is a 2-2 reversal that we're looking for, but there's an inside bar preceding it, so we call this a 122 Rev Strat. I have a video on that. But we can look for these calls at 34.29 off of this 2 down green, and then we've got our targets marked to the top side on BAC. Next up, we've got Beyond. Same thing. We've got 2 down green with this yellow trigger here at 1873. First target marked out. And I'm going to ask you guys, does anybody know why there's 2 pink lines? Without me telling you guys, does anybody know why there's 2 pink lines and what else we can use on this chart to tell us what we have because of those 2 pink lines? It's a long-winded question, but I'm sure Marlon will come up with it. Inside bar, yeah, Marlon. It's an inside bar on the weekly. So these pink lines, like we talked about before, represent the weekly chart that I have. I put those on there manually. This yellow circle also tells me that there's currently an inside bar on the week. So I can go to the week, and that's part of the indicator. And I have a video on how time frame continuity works, okay, and the point of it. But here's that inside bar. It's hard to see, but there's the bottom. There's the top. Okay, so we're looking to break out of that inside bar on the weekly. Shuff, yeah, you got it right, inside bar on the weekly. So we have a 2 down that finished green on the 2-day chart, and we are really close really to breaking either one of those inside bars, but the 2-day chart is telling us that we have a high probability of trending back up. That's on BYND. Up here on Datadog. D-Dog has the 2 down green as well, so our trigger is 77.34, first target 78.01. Now, this is the way I trade options, guys. If I'm looking to take this call on Datadog, I don't care how many contracts you take, it doesn't matter. That really depends on your account size. Okay, but I'm looking for stocks like, let's say, for example, there's only a few cents spread between the bid and the ask on Datadog, then this is a trade I'm looking at. If it's wider than a few pennies, or wider than 2 to 5%, I'm probably not taking this trade, because I buy market and I sell market. I like to get into the trade. I like to get out of the trade. So when I buy this, I would be looking to buy a call at a strike price of, if it's there, 77.50 or 78. Okay. So I take 1 or 2 strikes off of my trigger price, and then I take closest expiry. So for Datadog, that would be Friday. For something like SPY expires, their contracts expire every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So SPY, I'm taking 0 DTEs every single day. Now, you guys don't have to do that. Datadog, Friday expiry you can take, or the following Friday you can take, but that's how I do my setups. 1 or 2 strikes outside of my trigger price, and then I take the closest expiry, okay? We'll move on to eBay. So eBay has this 2 down green as well on the 2-day chart. It's also inside bar on the weekly, okay? So if we follow through with this play, this probability with the time frame continuity in our favor, we can look for these calls at 46.24, and our first target takes us 2 up on the week, okay? So it's a domino effect. We go 2 up on the 2-day, we go 2 up on the week, okay? Move on to Etsy. Etsy has an inside bar as well. So calls at 122.40, puts at 116.51 on Etsy. GME has a 2 down green. So we're going to look for this to trend back to the upside. We can mark out the targets together. And if I go too fast or for you guys, let me know, okay? I can slow it down. Calls at 19.10, first target at 19.52 on GME. Goldman Sachs, same thing, 2 down, finish green. 357.77 is our trigger. 366 is our target. Now, here's one that I'll show you guys again how I would do this. I'm lining it up for a call. I don't care about the contracts. You take what you can. Don't full port. Here's the thing, guys. I'm going to go through this real quick. Do not full port on a trade, okay? And I'll explain the reason to you, because I always tell you guys you can win 1 out of 5 trades. You can be 1 win and 4 losses on a setup of trades, and you can still be profitable. And if you're full porting, you can't do that. Okay, so even if you're cutting your losses at 10%, okay, let's just say that. The reason I don't want you guys to full port, let's say you have $1,000 in your account. I would trade $100 on each of your trades, okay? Because if you full port and you lose 10%, well, now the next time you full port, you're at $900, and then the next time you full port, you're less than $800, and then the next time you full port, you're less than $700. Okay, so you can't trade with that same dollar value in order to go 1 in 5. So if you're trading with just $100 and you lose 10%, well, that's 10% of that $100. Then you can trade with $100 again. Okay, and then if you lose again and you cut it at 10%, then you can trade with $100 again, and you're only down $20. Okay, and if you lose again at 10%, well, now you've lost $30, but you still have that same dollar value of $100 to trade with. Okay, do you see what I'm saying there? And then you could win your next trade and be at 30 or 40%. If you're 40%, you're $10 up overall. Outside of your, if we eliminate fees. Now we're not talking about fees, but just trading specifically, you would be up. Now, if you're doing it full port, you don't have that capability or that option to be able to do that. You guys understand that? So don't full port. Use a portion of your capital, okay? Every time. Because if you're trying to trade with your full account, that's how people lose, because you lose 3 trades and now your account's not at $1,000 anymore. You're at 700 or 600, and it's harder. It's harder to build back up your account with 600 than it was with 1,000. So if you can trade with the same dollar value on every single trade, it's going to help you out in the long run. Okay, so we're going to move on to IBM. IBM, same thing. We've got that 2 down green. We're going to look to trend up. So calls at 129.91 and good movement up to the upside. I was going to tell you on Goldman Sachs when I was looking for triggers here, at 357.77, I would be looking, again, I'm not going, the first target is at 366, but that's not what I'm taking as my strike price, okay? My strike price is going to be 358, 359. Maybe I might go to 360 in a situation like this where the target's a little bit higher, but I'm usually taking 1 or 2 strikes outside of my trigger price. Okay? JP Morgan, there's that 2 down green again. And we're going to look for calls at 143.74. And I guess I could put this first target here. There's not much room there. So again, I don't know if JP Morgan would not be something that I'm typically looking at, okay? Lyft, LYFT, has that 2 down green as well. We'll mark that first target there for us at 10.19. Again, not a lot of movement here. And for something like this, guys, when your trigger is 10.13, you could take a strike price at $10 or $9.50 on this, okay? Or if you wanted to take $10.50, that's okay too. I would lean more towards a $10 on this one because of this, okay? Because of this dollar value, there's not a lot of room for it to move to get close to that strike price, okay? We move on to plug power. There's that 2 down green on plug power, and that is a big hammer candle. We're going to see if we can trend this thing back up with calls at 13.97. There's that first target at the bottom of the wick again because we have that gap, and then we can move that next target back to the upside to the top of the wick there, okay? And same thing with this one. We're looking at 13.91. I'd be looking at a $14 strike on this, okay? Tesla, 2 down green, good magnitude back to the upside, $11. Again, I'm only looking at a 201 or a 202, maybe a 203 strike on Tesla, okay? So we're looking for a 2-2 reversal on Tesla there, calls at $200.48. Wells Fargo WFC, there's another hammer candle with an inside bar preceding it, so a 1-2-2 Rev Strat. We'll look for those. Look for the calls at $46.98 on Wells Fargo. XEL, there's the inside bar on XL Energy. Calls at 65.13, puts at 63.08. And that is the daily list, guys. So, again, if you guys want more help with this, more information on this, get it on the Discord. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the bell. The bell will give you the notifications for when we are actually going live on this stuff, okay? It'll send you notifications for when I send out new videos, new learning tools. I've got over 100 learning tool videos for you guys. I've set up playlists for you guys, a beginner's tool playlist, a SPY playlist, a 30 and 30 playlist, a gap playlist. Everything you guys need to be successful with this stuff. I've got playlists, I've got videos for you guys, okay? Broadening formations. I've got a 1-hour strat course. That's part of the Griswold Gold membership. So if you guys are interested in that information can be found on Twitter at Mr. Clark Griswold or in the Discord. There's a link for that in the description below. It's $50 a month, or you buy 2 months, you get the 3rd month free. You get one-on-ones with me through Zoom or Google Meets. There's the top 5 from these lists that I send out. There's live trading bots that send the trade setups directly to you guys, so you don't have to go looking for them. All the information can be found in the Discord. I also have a link for a free 30-day trial on TradingView. That's this screen, this chart stuff that you see here. That's how this indicator gets used. So you get a free 30-day trial with it, and then if you decide to use it, you get up to $30 off. So that link is in the description below as well. Marlon, did you have any, I know you were asking me earlier, did you have questions on any tickers for Monday, any daily stuff? What did you ask me here? Let me go back and see. You were asking Amazon, AMD, Apple on the week, and Apple on the weekly. Okay. So we'll get to that in the weekly video. If you guys give me some time here, we'll pop back on in like 20 minutes, if that's okay, and we can go through the weekly setups. You guys good with that? And then, yeah, again, if this isn't, if you're watching this recorded, not live, then feel free to check out the weekly swing list as well, okay? We're going to go live on that in about 20 minutes, so what are we at? 9:10 here my time. That's 11:10 Eastern. Whew, 11:30 Eastern. We're going to go live for the weekly swing list, okay? So thank you guys for watching. Good luck trading on Monday, guys. If you are in the Discord, I usually pop into the Discord to answer your questions during the day, okay? Right around noon Eastern, okay? So make sure you guys are joining for that. You can ask questions. You can do whatever you need. So if you don't have a setup on the daily, you should go to the 2-day. Shuff asked that. Not necessarily. I watch SPY most of the day, to be honest. So again, if you're not finding stuff on the daily or the 2-day charts, you can just hop down to the 15s and the 30s and look for your setups there, okay? You don't have to use your setups off of these daily charts. These are really good for opening in the morning because they tend to have really big gains off the morning. There's a lot of volatility first thing in the mornings. So that's why I put these lists out here. Unfortunately, with my kid's schedule, I don't get to do that anymore, so I've kind of had to adjust my strategy and change how I do things. I still really love the 1-day charts and the 2-day charts for setups, but now I don't get to trade till like an hour and a half after the market opens. So for me, I really need to concentrate on, I like the 15-minute to set my triggers and targets, and then I manage on the 5 always. So the 15 and 5 is my bread and butter. I should actually, I don't know if I coined that or something, the 15-5 setup, or anyways, that's what I would say to that. So I'm going to sign out here. Thank you guys for tuning in. And again, give me about 10 minutes or so, and we'll pop back in for a weekly swing list.